Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds. It's time to talk about treasures.
Are they broken?
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, joined by Amber, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, bringing you videos every single day. If you want to support the channel, best way to do it is to join the names scrolling on my right by heading to patreon.com.
Yes, we love our patrons as much as we can without making them uncomfortable. If you want to support us indirectly, you can use our TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. Go there, click the TCG Player affiliate link, and guess what? Boom! Supporting the nerds, spending no extra money, getting the cards you were going to buy anyway.
And you can go to dragonshield.com and buy the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
Just use our affiliate link, and you'll be giving us money while spending the same amount of money. You're just creating money.
Money. Also, special ad in the middle of this video from our sponsor, Maraschiello.com. Watch out for it. It's not going to get a surprise.
And happy birthday to everyone whose birthday's today.
Yes, happy birthday. So, today we're talking about treasure tokens.
Long time coming on this one.
Long time coming. People have been talking about, are they broken? Are they too good? Are they overused? All this stuff. But the first thing we have to do before we jump into any of the specifics is people are wondering, who don't know, what is a treasure token?
Well, a treasure token is literally one single token that says sacrifice it, tap, make a mana of any color. And they've been rolling these out last like 10 sets. They're really proud of it. So they're giving us a lot of treasure cards. And people have come to the conclusion that treasure tokens are somehow broken.
So people are saying treasures are broken, but why are they saying that? And the easy answer is there's a lot of very good, sometimes even broken cards, specifically, that do make treasures. And the thing that they're doing, making treasures, is the broken part of the card. But I don't think that makes treasures inherently broken.
In fact, we don't really see how any mechanic itself can be inherently broken. Now, we've had mechanics in the past. Every time Wizards rolls out some kind of new mechanic, they're going to push some of the cards and they're going to make like a multitude of mistakes. We can look at equipment. We can look at vehicles. We can look at Storm. We can look at Delve. And now historically, like Storm and Delve spells and maybe like Phyrexian mana spells have been broken. But is the mechanic broken? No. They've brought it back. They've brought them all back fairly. And it's not ruffling anything or ruining anything.
Yes, some mechanics are much better than others. I think making treasures is a fairly powerful mechanic along the lines of like Delve. Delve's a very powerful mechanic. But is everything broken that has Delve? Is everything broken that makes treasures? And of course the answer is just no. It's a matter of balancing it correctly. Like, so if you look at a card like Dockside Extortionist, that card is broken.
Yeah.
But that card would be broken if it's so broken if it just made mana and not treasures. That card would be equally as broken. It wouldn't be as good in like casual decks, but on the broken side where it's getting abused and just taken advantage of, it would still be a busted Magic card.
Cards just shouldn't do that. We had a short list of like some of the Alarm Bells treasure card. We got Hull Breacher, banned obviously, just deemed too good, too annoying for the format. Smothering Tithe makes a bunch of treasures. It just keeps on going and it triggers all the time.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I mean, Grimheart Earling, Professional Freight Breaker were hitting the phase. Pitiless Plunder has a bunch of infinite combos because it makes treasures, but would have those infinite combos if it made mana. Like, a lot of the cards that are broken with treasures would be broken just if they made mana.
Yeah, Wizards is coming around to this design, and they're learning some things. We had Old Gnawbone back in D&D. That was like one of the only good cards in the set. And now we have Bootlegger's Stash. Also, people are complaining about Bootlegger's Stash. This one doesn't even belong on the like really good treasure makers list. I just think this card is like okay, and then it has some decks that it's really good in.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good treasure cards, but the question is, you step back and you go, does this make treasures problematic? Are treasures an issue because there's so many good cards that make them? But realistically, it's not even there's so many good cards that make them, because there are 139 treasure cards that make treasures for you. Some make for your opponent. And they're just, almost none of them are even playable. Like, a lot of them are just awful, terrible Magic cards. I'd say probably at least 100 of those 139 you would never put in any commander deck.
They're like designed for limited.
So you can make an argument that maybe, sure, they've used the treasure mechanic too much. That this is, like, we're going back to the well too much. And because we are, they're some of the cards that they're pushing under them broken, but that doesn't make the mechanic broken. It's just treasures are there, they exist, they're a part of the commander format. They're not going away. They're
Evergreen.
They're not banning they're definitely not banning them, but they're definitely not banning all of these cards. So treasures are here to stay. They're just part of the format, and they're not inherently problematic in any sense.
Like, is card draw broken? Is card draw inherently problematic when I can point to 50 to 100 really good draw spells? Like, no, not even close. No one would even think to say that. Same with like, oh, reanimation. But like, what about reanimate and living death and animate death? It's like, yeah, those are great cards. They were pushed way too far. But reanimation is not broken. Look, here's a 5-mana sorcery that reanimates. That's totally fair.
Yeah, exactly. And you can flip it to you can just do this with anything. Our equipment's broken. Well, Batterskull's insane. Jite's insane.
Skull Clamp, Bone Splitter.
Skull Clamp. Those ones are super insane. Our equipment broken? The answer is just no. It's very simple. Were some equipment's designed poorly and made it seem like maybe some of these equipments are broken? Yes. That's exactly what's going on with treasures as well.
Yeah, but let's not get into the phase of like, oh man, they're ruining Commander with treasures. It's like, no, they're just printing some too good treasure cards.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the next thing we got to talk about before treasures again is Moxfield.com.
That's our treasure.
That is a treasure to the world. Moxfield.com is a deck building website. Go there, build your awesome Commander deck. Use all these features, including the putting glowing eyes on any cards feature.
Yeah, wasn't that an April Fool's?
I think you can still do it.
I don't know, but why don't you go down there and check?
Yes. So the only way to find out, if I didn't show it on screen, would be to go directly to Moxfield.com and check if you can put glowing eyes on your cards.
All right, so with that done, we can move back on to treasures. So the vast majority of cards for just any mechanic, literally like pick one, they're just not playable. They're designed for limited. They're designed for standard maybe, and they just don't convert into Commander. Commander takes, the top 15% of everything, and then the card pool for Commander's still really big, but you're not playing vanilla creatures. You're not playing uncommon draft archetype, identifiers.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't a busted mechanic whatsoever. Like you said, there's things like Deadly Dispute, totally fair, tame. Treasure card, is it good? Yeah, it's playable in Commander. It gets the job done sometimes. Same thing with like Big Score. It's like solid card for certain decks, especially when you're copying it. It's a really good spell in that case. But it's like, is it busted? No, not even close.
I mean, what they've been doing with a lot of these treasure cards, especially these two and plenty of others like it, is they overcost the spell, and then they give you treasures equal to what the spell should actually cost. So like Big Score, it's not a 4-mana card. That is a terrible Magic card. Thrill of Possibilities, the actual card. You discard, draw 2. This is like way overpay for it, so you can't cast it early. You have to wait and cast it later in the game, which is already like a big downside. Then it pays you back and says, all right, this basically costs 2 mana, and if you want, you could store the 2 mana for later. It's like, that is just the epitome of fair to me.
Yeah, exactly. And with a lot of cards that we're seeing, this is like Wizards learning how to balance treasures properly, because I think that there are mistakes. I think that Smothering Tithe and Dockside Extortionist are clear mistakes. They were poorly designed treasure cards that just maybe shouldn't exist, perhaps. But
not the fault of treasure. It's not like, well, that's what you get for putting treasure on something. It's like, no.
You can break anything. So food isn't broken because Oko pluses to make food. Oko is a broken Magic card. Treasure isn't broken because Dockside makes a bunch of treasures. Dockside is the broken and problem card. You can make food broken. In fact, if every single Magic card just makes 2 food for no reason, food the broken thing? No, it's the design. It's the bad design.
Right. I don't even have to be cracking the food. It's just like, now we're just making artifacts. And now it's just too many artifacts being made for like very little cost. Like, I think Oko is a perfect example because food is the tamest thing in the world, and he still makes a broken card despite +2 make a food token.
Exactly. Yeah. A card isn't just broken because it's using a certain mechanic. It's almost never the truth. Does that mechanic push the card and make it better? Of course. Look at something like Dig Through Time. Obviously, it's being pushed and getting much better because of the Delve ability. That's how it works. Because we have Drawn in Dreams, which is basically the fair version of that card, and that card's not very good.
Right.
But obviously, when you add Delve to it and you up the cost a bit, it makes the card a lot better. Does that mean Delve is broken? No, it doesn't. It's just the thing that is like improving the card or the mechanic it's using isn't broken. It's the card design within itself. That's just how cards work.
Yes, they've learned that, hey, we need more pips in the Delve cards. We need the Delve cards to maybe have more generic mana costs. Like, they know what they're doing with Delve, and I would not be scared if they printed more Delve cards because they learned their lesson. I don't think you need treasure hate. Like we've said, treasures getting more prevalent. There's probably a handful of playable treasure cards now. maybe even every commander deck plays on average 1 or 2 ways to make treasure. But as soon as you take away Dockside, Extortionist, Smothering Tithe, and maybe one other staple, the average deck probably actually plays like 0.5 to maybe 1 treasure card, just as a random chance. Like maybe someone plays Deadly Dispute.
Yeah, I think there's no reason to hate out treasures, especially because there's not any good ways to hate out treasures.
There's like Viridian Revel has been seeing some play, and I think cards like that, for now, just seem like a meta call. If you're playing against the same 6 people all the time, and like 4 of them are playing treasure decks half the time, then I would say, yeah, but that's some kind of like niche meta call that you should make individually. But I would never recommend to the general populace start putting treasure hate in your deck. I don't think we're there yet.
So I think to review a little bit here, treasures just aren't broken. I could go over this over and over again. It's not that treasures are broken. It's that there are cards that are poorly designed that do make treasure tokens. Is it getting stale? Sure, perhaps. Maybe they're going back to treasures too much.
I think we can chill on treasure for a little bit.
You can be on either side of it. Honestly, I can see I really like treasures. I think that's cool. I think it's a good way to add some stuff to cards, and you can keep going with it. Or you could be on the other side. It's stale. They're using it too much. We have 139 cards that make treasures or whatever.
Yeah, and the other little bonus thing that we're not going to touch on a ton is I don't also think there's some kind of color pie issue. I don't think the color pie is in jeopardy at all with treasures, so we really weren't going to mention it. Aside from this.
Yes, besides from this, most treasure cards are bad. Most are bad. So treasure is not inherently broken, but there are bad designs and cards that are way too good that do make treasure tokens. Even though I think something like Smothering Tide was a big mistake, it does need reprints, and we talked about it in this video about reprints. Peace out, Tribe Scouts!